Welcome to the Parang Night. Hello, Praya. Mika. Mamacita. I can't see, but hello, Joseph. Orietta. Nicole. Christmas we're not in July yet. Christmas in June. Over the rest of the year. It's up sweet 100. Yes. I don't know the words. Look, take it to the shop. Bring it. Thank you so much. Shake it. It's Parang Red. Welcome to the live. Read2Me. 87th episode. 87. Woo, we on fire tonight. Welcome, Jonathan. All right. Y'all love that introduction? Woo! Yeah. All right. Good evening, viewers. Good evening. Happy Father's Day to all our wonderful fathers. Happy Father's Day. Hi, Daddy. Yes. I know you're not really up with the gram and thing, but I will share it to you after. So, welcome to the 87th episode of the Read2Me series. It is a live storytelling series of children's literature from our local and regional authors. And my name is Shivvon Francis at the Playpoint. Oh, right. And my wonderful friend here is Tafar Lewis, who I have met at Department of Creative and Festival Arts, UB. And we have grown to have this wonderful relationship, both friendship, business, everything you could think about. Tafar?
So warm. I'm feeling warm, eh?
Because we're excited.
Because it's Parang Night. Tonight we're singing a Parang story for you. My name is Auntie Tafar. I'm an actress, a director, and I love to tell stories. And it's a great time when you could be with friends and we could just have fun, and before you sleep, get a good story that tells you about your culture. So we're gonna read tonight a Parang story, okay?
Yeah. Bring out the maracas.
So you ready?
Bring out the box bass. Bring out the everything related to Parang. This is a Parang story by Timothy Christopher Timal and illustrations by Daniel Silva. Sit back, relax, and let us read
to you.
Sorry. Sick in bed and surrounded by family, 86-year-old Parang Queen Florence Amantes raises a tired hand and shoos away everyone except her eldest. He leans in close, listening to her commands, and walks out of the room to the sullen crowd and whispers in 12-year-old Amanda's ear. A smile on her face, Amanda skips into the room, the rest looking on in amazement. Amanda runs over and hugs her ma in bed, clutching her tightly. With a smile on Florence's face, tears flow freely from her old and tired eyes.
Why you crying, Ma?
Florence clutches Amanda's face gently in her hands.
Sorry.
Amanda looks confused.
Sorry.
Florence tosses her feet to the side of the bed and lumbers upright.
Flower, that is what my grandpa called me. I could not be much older than you when he gave it to me.
Amanda looks on in amazement. Florence flares her nose and her chest heaves as she takes in a big breath of air. Amanda holds her breath in unison.
You smell of cedar wood, the best scent in the world.
The deep breath seemed to have taken years off of Florence's face.
Pa stretched out his hand and I hesitated, but gave him back my brand new quattro that he made especially for me.
Amanda watches with concern on her face as her great-grand sways back and forth on the edge of the bed. But her fear soon wanes as Florence draws her hand to her breast and begins to strum an imaginary quattro. Amanda's face lights up, and as she was notorious for, she begins to mock her ma's every movement. A couple of quick blinks of her eyes, and Amanda is amazed to see that her ma's battle-worn nightgown gives way to a pretty floral dress. The years falls off Florence's face. Her hair, black and thick-grained, adorned with a blood-red hibiscus hat flower. A concentrated frown on her face. Her lips quiver as it forms to make the first high-pitched note of the parang. Her mouth moving, her hands strumming faster and stronger. Florence is alive with the imaginary sound. Like the low murmur of a running brook, gaining strength with every step forward, every mocked movement that Amanda makes seems to make the music louder and clearer until she could hear every crisp sound coming from the instruments, blessed by the heavenly voice of her great-grand. Amanda sways back and forth, affording a view of her profile in the long side mirror next to the bed, and she gasps as she too wears a dress like her great-grand, complete with hibiscus and quattro. Amanda plays and sways like a seasoned parandero, much older than her tender years, the music infecting her like a fever, haunting her very soul. So possessed that even though her imagination let her continue to see her great-grand singing, Amanda hears her aged voice as she continues to speak to her.
I spent the entire August vacation by Ma and Pa. Pa died the last Saturday before school was supposed to start back.
Amanda gasped, her face full of horror. Florence, dressed in black, complete with veil on her head, tenderly strums her quattro. The words from her mouth soothing the pain of the moment. Tears roll down her eyes as she stands over Pa's coffin. Amanda shuns her imagination and returns to the present.
But I thought parang was only about Christmas.
a big smile forms on Florence's face.
Christmas, christenings, birthdays, weddings, all kind of celebrations, girl.
Amanda studies the words.
But a funeral is not a celebration.
Florence bursts out laughing.
It is the greatest celebration, for it is the celebration of the life that was and the promise of what will be.
Amanda absorbs that life lesson.
A black suit with a white rose pinned to its breast, his hair slick and his moustache cropped like an American Western star. Rupert was the best looking man I had ever seen.
Amanda chuckles at her great-grandmother's face. At her great-grandfather's name too. Florence begins to sway and strum her imaginary instrument again. Amanda could see a young Florence dressed in a white wedding gown next to her young strapping great-grandfather. Looking around, she marvels at how new the church on the hill looked, with its fresh paint and newly varnished pews. But it was the sound of the parang band in the corner that really caught her attention. Tuck, tuck, tuck. The sound of the tuck-tuck signals the familiar beginning of a parang song. This is followed by the guitar, the mandolin, the box bass, the shak-shak, the clapper, and the crater, and finally the quattro. All these simple handmade instruments combine to make the most beautiful song. Everyone swayed and shimmied in the church except for one man dressed in black, which would have been better suited for a funeral.
Mr. Winder, a big-time music producer and manager from town. He said he would make me a star. And he was right. If you see all them trophies and plaques and CDs in the living room, that was because of him. But he didn't tell me I would also be responsible for the death of parang. Electric instruments kill the parang. And I was right there. I could have done something to stop it.
Amanda snaps out of the dream state to see her very old and very worn great-grandmother Florence Amantes shuffle back into bed.
Sorry, Amanda.
Amanda carefully saunters up to the edge of the bed.
The way it sounds, it looks as if parang would have been dead a long time if it wasn't for you.
It was Florence's turn to let her imagination run wild. Over the decades, she had played and sang for presidents and paupers, in the galleries of tiny houses and the island's biggest halls. She had done it all, won every prize, and received every accolade. Parang had given her life, and so she had reciprocated. Florence smiles at Amanda and then looks over her shoulder and smiles even bigger, brighter smile as Amanda hugs her hard.
me now, Flower. Hey, I call you just like my pa used to call me.
Amanda's hug lingers, finally broken as the light in the room flutters. She hangs her head as she slowly walks to the door. She looks back to see her great-grandfather on bended knee, hands outstretched to Florence, a wink of his eye at Amanda as she smiles and lifts her head. In the corridor, the rest of the family look on, their faces hanging even lower now. The lights in the house dim until finally going out. The complete darkness and silence is broken by the creak of Florence's door opening. The panic shuffles by the elders in the search of candlelight dims as the haunting songs of a quattro accompanied by an angelic voice fills the Amantes' household. Candlelight illuminates Florence's bedroom, and the rest of the family watch as Amanda celebrates the life of Florence and becomes the promise of what will be.
Break crack, monkey, break it back for a piece of Pomerak. And at the end, no one was ever able to figure out why the Amantes' house was the only one to lose electricity that night. But as word spread throughout the village, each and every household took off their lights in tribute to the passing of Florence Amantes, the Queen of Pomerak. Yay! Story time! Story time! So, this was Read to Me with a parang story.
Oh gosh, we hope all your children enjoy it.
Yes, and you're ready for bed. And we want to remind you that right now, we know you've been doing a great job of keeping safe. But we want to remind you, for this new week, remember to wash your hands. And how you have to wash your hands? It's the birthday song as you're singing.
Yes, for 20 seconds or more.
You put your soap and we're singing happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. And we're making sure the hands remain clean and we wear our mask. And we know this is a new week and people want to go to the beach and the river and new things that open up. But at all times we're trying to be safe and we've been doing a great job so far. So this has been Read to Me.
Let's keep it up.
Read to Me, the 87th episode. Thank you so much for having us.
Tomorrow will be the 88th with new readers.
Yes, and they will be just as hype and enjoyable. So tune in. So thank you. Have a great night, okay?
Night, y'all.
Thanks for tuning in.